NADH is biological hydrogen that reacts with oxygen in all cells to generate energy. It's the fuel of cellular energy production. We have NADH in most of the organs of our body, particularly in our hearts and brains, because we need NADH. The more we have of it, the better we feel.
The importance of this substance has been known for quite some time, but it has long been impossible to stabilize it within the human body, enough for the body to actually use it.
Correct. That's why it was never applied therapeutically. To briefly tell the history, my late father was a neurologist who discovered L-DOPA for treating Parkinson patients. He had patients from all over the world, and with one of them, L-DOPA stopped working. So he said to me, "Georgie boy, go think of something. I paid for your studies of biochemistry." So I browsed the biochemistry textbooks and found that L-DOPA requires NADH. I gave him a vial of NADH from a laboratory in Vienna, and he injected it into a patient who wasn't even able to walk. Half an hour later, he got up and jumped around. Next, my father said, "Infusions are fine, but for my patients abroad, I need pills. Make me pills." That was easier said than done. It took us 4.5 years of research to find a substance that makes NADH stable for more than 2 years. We were granted patents for this development, which allowed us to conduct more than 20 scientific studies with such types of subjects as Alzheimer patients and Olympic athletes. Energy drinks contain caffeine, like coffee. Caffeine causes adrenaline to be released from our neurons. Once you have no more adrenaline in your neurons, you can drink as many energy drinks as you like. You won't experience a stimulating effect. NADH, however, has been scientifically proven to create energy within the cells. At the University of Graz, we incubated cardiac cells with NADH, which caused a 30% energy increase in each cell. Also, cell survival rates were doubled, which means that NADH is scientifically proven to slow down aging. Yes, it is. There's a device for it called the pupillometer, which measures the reactivity of your pupils. 17 infrared beams per second are targeted to the pupil, which reacts by contracting. If it's tired, it will contract slowly. If it's alert, like in the morning, it will contract quickly. We used the pupillometer to test NADH. When my employees were tired, the pupillometer placed them in the orange or red area, which means they would have been advised not to drive. Half an hour after taking 1 or 2 pills of NADH, they all moved to the green area. So, the pupillometer measures a person's fatigue objectively and is therefore also able to measure the effect of our preparation objectively. The pills are useful for virtually everybody, but those who need them most are managers who are burned out and whose batteries are basically drained, so they suffer from depression and lack of concentration. Students at school might suffer from poor concentration as well, and many elderly people are demonstrated to suffer from a lack of NADH. That's an interesting effect we observed with managers who suffer from sleep deprivation. They reported that they were finally able to sleep through the night, and that's because NADH stimulates the sleeping substances in the brain. Sleep deprivation causes a variety of problems. Let me start with aviation. Imagine that in the United States alone, there are 10,000 documented plane incidents on account of flight controllers falling asleep. That's about 30 a day. Fatigue is also responsible for 25% of all fatal traffic accidents. Moreover, many of the big disasters in recent history, including Chernobyl, Exxon Valdez, and Fukushima, have been demonstrated to be results of employee fatigue. More than 50% of the Western population suffer from sleep deficit. We conducted a study together with Cornell University in New York. Healthy volunteers, aged 30 to 40, were kept awake for 24 hours. After 24 hours of waking, the brain capacity was reduced to 50%, which is about the same as when you have a blood alcohol level of 0.2%. One group, however, received NADH. Their levels were not only better than those of the placebo group, but 4 times better than after a good night's sleep. That doesn't mean you shouldn't sleep. It only means that if you have a sleep deficit, you should use NADH. Jet lag is an even crueler method of torture than sleep deprivation, because it gives you a completely different rhythm. We conducted a jet lag study with Georgetown University in Washington, D.C. We had test subjects fly from California to D.C. overnight. One group received a placebo, the other NADH. We found that the group taking NADH were alert, performed outstandingly well in brain performance tests, and didn't feel any fatigue at all after their flight. This study was then presented to American television, where reporters didn't believe it was true, so they offered to repeat the study off their own budget. Interestingly, their results turned out even better than ours with Georgetown University. One reporter from the Wall Street Journal participated with the express goal of giving the study a negative review. He ended up writing an editorial on the impressive effects of NADH. No, it's not. We had that confirmed by the German anti-doping agency and the Olympic Committee. Moreover, it never will be on the doping list because we have so much NADH in the body that it's impossible to detect the additional amount added externally. The question most people ask is, does it have side effects? I'm glad to be able to tell you that it does not. We were required to document that in various studies because we have more than 10,000 American consumers, and whenever an American feels a single side effect, they will have their lawyers write you a letter. All we got so far were more than 900 unsolicited letters praising the effects of NADH rapid energy. NADH ripoffs pose a major problem because they contain little to no NADH. While these manufacturers surely fill NADH into their pills, it will have degraded after 3 months. It took us 4.5 years of intensive research to find a way to keep the substance stable for at least 2 years. The plagiarists simply admix NADH with some filler, press it into tablets, and call it the real thing. Our NADH rapid energy preparation is the only one that actually contains 20 milligrams of NADH, as it says on the label, even after 2 years.